Well, I'm completely depleted. Only got about 4 hours sleep last night. Baby's been sick. It's been a rough go. Started late. I was trying to recoup, so I started depleted, but got 10 miles, rolled down. It was tough, but literally that was everything I had. I drank about 15 ounces of water on it, and I had a gel at mile 6, but I'm pretty well cooked. But it was a good run. I guess it'll make me stronger. Thanks. Catch you next time.
Hi, good morning everyone. Jack here, checking in here to give a quick little brief recap on week 3 of training. I'm joined here today on vacation with my son Jax, future runner in the next couple of years to get him going. But he's going to join me today for this quick little recap, primarily honing in on the 3 speed runs, the 2 with strides, and then the 1 longer run on Friday that I had to move to Friday because of some travel plans, so I did not run on Sunday. But the 2 6-miler runs with strides felt really good. The strides are picking up, trying to be in check with what's going on with the body during those strides, and then it allows me then to settle into a very comfortable moderate pace in between. The longer run, 10-mile progression run on Friday, also I felt pretty good. Really wanted to start off making sure keeping pace in check, particularly early on in the run, so I had something to build up to half marathon pace. By the time it was all said and done, I actually thought it was a little slower than I anticipated, or maybe even wanted to go by the time I got to the half marathon pace. Now, granted, we did have taken into consideration the humidity and heat adjustment on that, but it was nice to see the build up to that, particularly running out on an old country road with some pretty steep terrain, particularly on the back half of the run. But overall, felt very good, and I thought week 3 was a very productive week. Looking forward to week 4. At the time of this recording, I'm already 2 days into actually week 4, and so looking forward to speaking on that next week. So all is well. Things are going as good as they can be. You know, still trying to stay hydrated. It's hot here in New Jersey. It's hot in South Carolina. So that's just something where it looks like we're gonna have to deal with here for the next couple of weeks as we get through this. But yeah, looking forward to continuing to build on what this foundation that we started, and check in with you guys next week. Take care. Say bye, Jax. Bye. See ya.
Hey everyone, welcome to DevRunner. My name is Paul. I'm a certified running coach, and this is episode 4 of Chasing PRs. This series follows 3 runners and myself, their coach, as they go through the training plans that I've designed for them to help them reach their goals for this coming fall. I'll be sharing running tips and advice to help them and you become a faster, stronger, and healthier runner. So please like this video, leave your comments below, along with questions that you may have. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ding that bell so that you get notifications every time I post a new video. You can follow the details of every one of the runners who participates from week to week on Strava. Their links are all shared below. So with that, you may have noticed that Jack and Michael are not on screen with us this evening. And that is because Michael has a sick child and Jack is actually traveling back from the beach today, so he was unavailable. But as you saw at the beginning of this video, they did complete their week of training and they did another incredible job. Just, I couldn't be more proud of them. You know, they nailed those 2 speed days and their long runs went really well. Their heat adjusted marathon pace, they were supposed to run the last 2 miles of their long runs at that pace, and they both nailed it down. I know they were tired and I know it wore them out a little bit, but as I said, I'm couldn't be more proud that they actually got the job done. Next week is a down week for them, which means that their mileage is lower and a little bit less demanding so that their bodies get an opportunity to recharge. So perfect timing there. All right, everybody. So before we get into it with Joel, I just want to point out a new subscriber spotlight that came out earlier this week on my channel with the amazing Stephen Kornhaus of YouTube's Ultra Trail Steven channel. He is an incredible ultra runner. He has run 24-hour races. He's gone 100 miles on several occasions. He's a race organizer along with his wife. He hails from Tennessee, so another Southerner like me. And we just had a great time talking about everything running. So I encourage you to go into my backlog and check that out. And with that, I just want to say welcome Joel, who's made it tonight. And we're going to do a little bit of extra talking since we've got the opportunity about all things marathon racing and training. And first of all, Joel, I just want to throw it to you to talk about how your 2 workouts went and how your long run went this week.
They went really well. So on Tuesday, I had a track day, and we can talk a little bit about that. On Wednesday, it was an aerobic run, 14.7K. Gotcha. Friday, an aerobic run again, 11K with 10 strides.
Yep, I'm watching along here.
What's that?
I'm looking at your training calendar as you speak.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing too. And then Sunday, 26K long run with 6.5K at marathon pace. So so it was. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, before you go into the details, I just want to give everybody the big picture that you did an amazing job again this week. So, you know, I'm proud of all 3 of you guys. It's just like you guys are just, it seems like you're almost cruising now. So, but yeah, please. The past week was your very first track workout. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about how that went and how you felt about it.
Yeah. The track workout went fine. I've done a little bit of track work in the past, but I haven't done much lately. So it's interesting when you're on the track, it's a very different feel.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
I was a bit hesitant with my pace. You know, but I learned from it. So tomorrow when I have my next track day, it's the same workout again. I'm going to push it a little harder. But what I didn't want to happen, and you and I talked about this, I didn't want to, you know, do the first two 800 meter intervals, and then, you know, wreck myself on those and not be able to perform on the 1600 and then the last 2 800s.
Yeah.
So my pace was, I know I can move a little quicker. And so tomorrow I'll experiment with that.
Awesome.
It's going to be warmer. So it'll be interesting. I'll try to get out there early.
Yeah. Great tactic right there. So before it gets really, really sticky and, you know, just too hot out there. But, you know, the good thing about 400, I know there's no 400s on your track days yet, but this also applies to 800 meter. You can push pretty hard. Usually by the time the heat starts to affect pace, an 800 is already done. So feel free to just, you know, slam it, you know, run that as hard as you can. And I would love to see, you know, there's a principle of training that you know, you're following perfectly, I think, without even knowing it. And, you know, since last week was your first track day, think of that. That's an introduction. That's an introduction to a new concept. So when you head back to the track tomorrow, that'll be sort of phase 2, which is improve. And then phase 3 is always perfect. So you're always going to introduce something, improve it. By the third time you hit something, you want to be pretty much, you know what you're doing. So, you know, what you did last Tuesday is perfect. Yeah. So The only thing I encourage you to do when you hit the track tomorrow is try to get those times down now that you're used to it. Go easy the first couple 800s again. By the time you get to that 1600, I want you, don't hold back. I want you to really, it sounds weird to hear this from a coach, but slam it. Like run it as hard as you can. Try to find, and by that I don't mean go out and run the first lap as hard as you can and then be forced to slow down.
Yeah.
Try to find the point where you're breathing really heavy but not getting into an oxygen debt. Like something that you think you can maintain, even though it's going to be and should be somewhat painful, but that you know you can make it 4 times around that track without significantly slowing down by the end. You know, and the reason I want you to do that is because, as we said last week, your training block is so short before your marathon that the main way you are going to become a faster runner in such a short time is through threshold and beyond training. We're going to try to jack up your VO2 max over the space of like 6-7 weeks. So you get this sort of, you're riding on this bubble, and we're going to try to train you so hard on track day that it just kind of magically raises up your VO2 max and thereby your overall speed. But we're going to hit it so hard that if this was a longer training block, if you were out there for like 18 weeks with me, I wouldn't want you to hit it this hard because eventually something would break before race day showed up. But this is kind of like a little bit of a balancing act between taking chances and getting the result you want. So, you know, my advice to you is, you know, if you're feeling something physically in your legs, if there's something going wrong with the muscles, or you feel a tendon starting to get twitchy, of course, back off. We're trying to make it through this whole thing. But, you know, if it's just a matter of heart and breathing, you want to be right on the edge of aerobic. Like you want to be pushing faster than 5K pace out there. Like really, really, you don't want to be comfortable at all. You know what I mean? You want it to kind of hurt. So,
right.
You know, and like I said, you're going into week 2 of track tomorrow. So you will probably about 2 weeks from tomorrow, you'll start to see the effects. You will start to see your actual interval times that feel more like your normal times right now will suddenly start dropping magically by 2 or 3 seconds a lap, and you'll be like, holy cow, it's working, you know? So something to look forward to. It's not all just torture for nothing.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so with that long-winded, you know, getting in your way there, please talk about the rest of the week.
All right, so on Wednesday, as I mentioned, it was an aerobic run. It was I wound up doing about 14.8 kilometers, and it was a good run, good pace, and consistent. I got a little uptick in speed at the end, so cool. Pretty happy with it.
Yeah, can't go wrong there.
Yeah, and the Friday run, 11K. Sorry, I'm speaking kilometers. I can't do.
Yeah, no. I mean, no, don't even try. I mean, you know, I love the I love the fact that we've got kind of an international thing going on here. You know, because the vast majority of the world, it doesn't do it the way America does. So.
Okay. So Friday, 11K, and there were 10 strides. So again, a little faster again. Good results. Everything felt good. I do have a Garmin watch. I think you do as well.
Yep.
At the end of the run, I was greeted with a new VO2 max record.
Yeah, which we talked about this offline a couple of days ago. And man, that's just such amazingly good news, because it's, you know, as we were saying when we spoke earlier, I've got a feeling you are probably an exceptionally talented runner in the sense of genetically what you have available to you. And I think this training block may just start to reveal that to you. And I think there's probably a lot of amazing stuff ahead for you. So that's great news.
Well, interestingly enough, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine today. Over the years, we've done the stupidest competitive stuff, competing against each other. So the fact that his VO2 max is significantly lower than mine irritates him to no end. Now, what I did, the truth of the matter is he is kind of built for this. I am not, like, I think my VO2 max has to be a little higher because proportionally my legs are a little shorter. I'm more torso. I'm not like what you would call a typical, runner. I don't look like a typical runner.
Well, I feel very much the same. I'm a short guy with stubby legs, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, our legs are probably not that far different in length. I think I've seen videos of you running. You look like a runner. I look more like kind of a rhinoceros. Right, a rhinoceros can actually run pretty fast. So, but clearly they don't look like a cheetah. We can, leave it at that. With you. But
as long as you know how to use what you got, that's all that matters.
Yeah. I perfected the getting the short legs, turning over as quickly as I can, and I think that's where the VO2 max comes in. But so Saturday I didn't do the 6.5K run, but I did do a hike.
Yeah, gotcha.
I would honestly, I would like to do everything that's on the calendar. It was just, I just wanted to spend a bit of time with my girlfriend, and I figured, what, if I did the hike, I didn't want to do anything that would impact my long run on Sunday.
Exactly. And an easy day is supposed to be an easy day. If you want to go out for a hike instead, that's going to be strenuous enough and keep your legs fresh. As long, the only thing that I wanted you to be careful about on that easy day was don't strain. If you want to go out there and have fun instead of just like knocking out, some easy mileage running per se, of course, go ahead and go out and have some fun. Just don't, as you just said, don't knock yourself out before the long run. That's all.
Right. Yeah. For me, and the proof is really in the pudding again this week. If I'm very mindful on the Saturday of what's coming on the Sunday with regards to hydration and rest, it really pays huge dividends.
Absolutely. Nothing makes as big a difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So getting to Sunday, then it was 26K run, like I said, and 6.5K at marathon pace. I picked the course. I planned very carefully to have the right course, to have a flat 6.5, the last 6.5 be flat. It worked out really well. I was able to, now it was a beast, that 6.5.
Yeah.
It was starting to get a little warmer, and I was tired.
Yep.
And I was breathing hard.
Okay.
And honestly, to tell you the truth, the only thing, like, I was thinking, you know what, like, the only thing that kept me going was I didn't want to have to come on here and tell you I didn't do it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And the only time mentally where I'm that strong is in a race. Usually in a race, I'll do it.
Yep. Because it's all or nothing.
Yeah. But now with you, it's a similar feeling. So I have a photo of myself finishing, and honestly, I'm like, my mouth is as open as I can get, just trying to get air in. Like,
yeah.
As I finish the last, the last few steps. So it's going to get interesting. Like, next week, it's a lot further and a lot more distance at marathon pace.
Well, the week after next week, you've got an 18 miles, but
yes,
your long run, which is 29K, but that's an aerobic run. So you shouldn't be pushing that hard next week. It's supposed to be, we're upping your ability to cover distance without stressing your anaerobic threshold.
That's right. So next week I'll be up north again. It'll be kind of rolling hills. There will be hills, but it's an aerobic run, like you said. So less important that I won't be hitting marathon pace.
Exactly. And one thing I want to point out to you, and the same thing is true of me. I don't talk about my own training right now, but I'm kind of like I'm right on the cusp of starting an 18-week marathon training cycle myself. And I did a little bit of experimenting this past week with, getting to the end of a long run and then, sustaining marathon pace, my intended marathon pace. And at the beginning of a training cycle, that first time you have to do that, yeah, it's freaking hard, buddy. And it should be, because, as the adaptations start to pile up from your tempo days, from your track days, that is going to start to get easier, assuming that you are kind of either maintaining race weight or slowly approaching race weight. All that stuff adds up. And a point, just a quick side point to make to everybody who's watching this, the difference that 5 pounds makes, if you're 5 pounds above your intended race weight, it doesn't sound like a lot of weight. But if you're really going for it, as I know you are, you got a goal that you want bad, and you're going to be pushing as hard as you can. Don't try to drop all the weight at once. Do it gradually over time so you can do it in a healthy way without weakening your body, because it needs the nutrients to keep this kind of training up. But 5 pounds makes marathon endurance performance a lot easier. So just things to keep in mind as the weeks go by. But trust me, by the time 2 weeks from now, as long as you continue doing all the right things, Joel, your what is it going to be? It's going to be like, what, 20 miles? A 20-mile long run 2 weeks from now with 8 miles or 13K at marathon pace. I've got a feeling it's not going to seem as bad as this last one was for you. Keep that in mind. And plus the fact that you mentally know what you're in for next time. You know what I mean? It's not like this fresh thing. You haven't felt that strained in a good number of months at the very least since the last time you've been forced to run that hard for that long. So everything adapts, including your mental state. So, with that said, Joel, before we say goodnight, I just was hoping we could do a little bit of review, maybe for everybody who's watching now that you're moving into the strength phase of your training cycle, what that really means. And what that really means is you're going from just sort of building your base mileage with easy runs and the occasional strides just to kind of introduce the idea of moving faster, to now where you're gonna be spending more time doing the kind of runs that build your strength. And that is tempo runs. And a tempo run is basically a run at a pace that you can just sustain for 60 minutes if you had to. So it's usually that for most runners, that means it fits somewhere between your half marathon pace and your 10K pace, because most people are going to run a 10K at a pace faster than they can sustain for an hour. You're kind of pushing pretty darn hard. And if you had to keep it up, you'd eventually just crumble, So it's somewhere right in there. And I believe, according to the numbers that we played with, your tempo pace should be 424 per kilometer or 705 a mile. So that's your target tempo, non-heat adjusted, mind you. And also in the strength building phase, there are Fartleks, which are basically, that's Swedish for speed play, which means you could be running along on an aerobic run, and then you just decide to pick it up for an undefined length or an undefined jump in speed. But you're just playing with speed. You're speeding up, you're slowing down whenever you feel like it, just to kind of build in a little bit of extra strength along the way to make it a little bit more fun. You're basically saying, see that lamppost down there? I'm going to run fast to that lamppost, and I'll slow it down again, or whatever suits you on a given day. So, when you're out there on your aerobic runs, feel free to just play around like that, because every little bit of picking it up that you do makes you stronger. So, and of course, the big one that you just started this past week with interval work or track work. And that's where you're really just trying to wreck yourself, you know, getting as close to that. You're moving faster than 5K pace. You're running at like 95% of your capabilities and just trying to floor it, because your tendons, your muscles, everything gets a huge workout. The benefits after you have like a day of recovery, you know, after 2 or 3 weeks, it really starts to show itself. And then, you know, with you pushing as hard as you're going to be pushing, it's going to raise your VO2 max really quickly. I'm hoping in the space of 6 weeks, you are just kind of like this VO2 max monster who can just destroy a marathon at paces that you never saw before out of yourself. So with that said, sir, we've covered an absolute ton of ground here. And I thank you for the patience, and I thank you for all the extra insight that you've given us since we had the opportunity. And
my pleasure.
Dude, yeah, I guess we'll touch base again next week and see how your 18-mile long aerobic run went, along with your second track interval session. And I'm really looking forward to it, because so far, dude, you're killing it. I think you've got nothing but good news ahead for your marathon if things keep up like this. So go out there with confidence this week, because yeah, you couldn't be doing any better.
Awesome. Thanks. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one, and I'll catch you next week.
Okay. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.